Right, did you want to introduce this?
Should we just do the
Oh, yeah.
greetings and nice to see you too, James.
Shit, yeah, you're right. How's work been?
It's been a whole different world. What can I say? It's good to be back, to know that I'm needed for something in life. But I don't know if it's worth the stress that it's causing.
I remember the first day you texted me and you said that you did like a 10-hour day.
Yeah, and that was pure 10 hours, like no commute, nothing else.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
It's really fun. And that was on your birthday. Happy fucking birthday, Dan.
Oh mate, I wanted to jump off the flat building, second floor.
At best, you would have broken your legs.
Yeah, it would have got me out of work on the Tuesday though, wouldn't it?
True. You'd be back on that furlough cash.
Oh yeah. How's
20% less of my paycheck. Get in. So yeah, what did you think of the football this weekend?
Football. Let's just put it this way. I had high expectations than I thought it would be. I know that the players had 2 months off or a month and a half off, without training and all that sort of thing. But it's been really boring. I watched the Chelsea game today, or yesterday if you're listening or watching this tomorrow, on the Monday. I'm just confusing everyone. But with the crowd, I think that's the biggest issue for me. Of course, the crowd makes quite a big atmosphere, and now there isn't any crowds for obvious reasons. But it's just like a training game. There's nothing more to it, where you can hear the coaches shouting and someone else shouting, and it's like, right, okay, this is not something I'm used to when I'm used to having a crowd of like 30, 40, 50,000 people cheering. So what they've done was they've done this artificial noise for crowds. Man City fans might be very familiar with it.
We're familiar with this at West Ham as well. You remember they started doing that?
No, I'm not aware of it. I mean, I'm not aware of it anyway. I'm just taking the piss.
No, but that is a genuine thing that West Ham actually did. After we
Really?
moved to the Olympic Stadium in 2016, like a year later, it was a headline and there were accusations, but I'm willing to believe that was the case. That they would be simulating crowd like claps and things when West Ham did well, even though the fans at the time really hated the club. So that's a genuine accusation that was leveled at West Ham. That was a genuine thing that happened.
That's very interesting you say that, because I wasn't aware of anything like this beforehand. And I thought, you know what, yeah, it could be done, because I know that a lot of cars do that nowadays, because the sound insulation on the engine is so good. And it makes it quiet in the car, but quite a lot of people like the noise of the engine when you accelerate. So I know that there's artificial things for that, but I never thought you could make it in a live sports environment where it lags, and it really showed how much it lags, where the ball has been kicked and then you hear the crowd, intensifying. When it's been kicked, you hear them go, oh, and it's whether that goes up or down, whether it's a goal or it's been missed. So the ball's missed, it flies past the net probably about 5 meters, because it's potentially hit the backboard already. And then the crowd only then calms down. It's not a live feed, or I don't know if it was my internet, I don't know what was going on, but it just wasn't to the right timing of it. And with it not being at the right timing, it just looked like it was poorly run.
Yeah, I'm guessing a big part of that was probably just lag. But the only game that I watched this weekend was Spurs versus Man United on, I think, Friday night. And in terms of the actual quality of the game, I thought it was complete dog shit, honestly. I really didn't. I had my phone in front of me and I would just be flicking up and down between the two. I wasn't really invested in the game, particularly because I'm not a fan, but I still didn't find it an entertaining game to watch. So I think this big layoff that we've had has had a big effect on the product and the kind of and all of that stuff as well. Because from what I've seen, it wasn't particularly entertaining.
No, I would definitely agree with you. I think I don't know if it's the players who have
been shagging hookers in the middle of the night.
Some of them have, yeah. But I get, you haven't trained at the same level. Your routine has been broken and all that sort of thing. But with the Premier League compensating for it, and they're saying, well, actually, we'll have 9 substitutes on the bench rather than 7, and then managers have got the ability to use 5 of them rather than 3. So you'd think players would be played less, yeah, and the players on the bench would come on. So that level would almost be kept up a little bit more because people will get tired and fatigue will kick in and all that sort of thing, which is all the basic sports have. Unless it's like golf or snooker. But anyway, we're not getting to that conversation now. All I'm trying to say is it's been very odd because it doesn't feel like those substitutes and that change of regulations has really done anything, because I don't even think most of the managers have used 5 substitutes.
I think they're so in that way of just using 3, because it was 3 before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess this is one of those things that will just take time for them to eventually get used to. Okay, this is how we can make use of this fifth substitute or whatever, and it may affect tactics long term. But right now, I'm not seeing any difference. And just talking in terms of like the quality. Like obviously they haven't been able to train properly or anything, so yeah, that would be a massive factor. Like maybe it was just the fact I wasn't as invested in the game, but it just wasn't the same. And we said this about the German football beforehand. Like we were expecting a lot more, and what we've got, yeah, it's live sport and that's great, but when you compare that to watching the highlights of the rugby in New Zealand, I'm much more invested in the rugby in New Zealand because they have live crowds and everything, and that adds to the product. Whereas with live sports, it just kind of, with the Premier League, it feels like just a training match almost.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with you.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where you think to yourself, I would rather be in New Zealand now. For me, anyway. I'm not a big rugby fan, but imagine that, having a crowd of people near you.
Exactly.
Not that New Zealand are big fans of the British people now, because they've gone to 24 days without any coronavirus cases, and Brits have gone over there and brought new cases in.
I think they were Kiwis that were travelling back from the UK, but it still doesn't look very good.
No. Quite funny, if anything. Well, to someone like me, I'm sure to the local Kiwi people, it's not very funny.
Yeah, like we fucked them up yet again. Yeah. Oh, this reminds me of something, because obviously the players, like before the games, they've been kneeling, haven't they? Because of COVID, and probably got something to do with Black Lives Matter as well. But they've been kneeling, and the ref's obviously been blowing a whistle, and then they kneel for a minute. The ref blew a whistle before the Liverpool game, and then I think it was Mane. You can see him at the top of the screen just run across because they think that they're kicking off.
Yeah, I've seen the video. It's actually quite funny. I've seen a meme of it where you've got everyone taking a knee for solidarity and whatnot, and then you've just got Lightning McQueen with Mane's face on the front of it saying, "I am speed."
Oh, for fuck's sake. That's brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, I only saw that clip, so I don't know what he did afterwards. But I'm assuming he legged it back.
No,
to
he just legged it back and started kneeling. That's
Oh,
literally
okay.
it.
Okay.
But it's still brilliant. Yeah.
So all in all, the Premier League is not as exciting as we thought it was going to be. Or it might get more exciting. I think now Liverpool and Everton, that game was an absolute dog shit of a game. I think all other games except the Arsenal games, which you just, for any non-Arsenal fan, watching them lose is the most entertaining thing because they just don't help themselves.
Watching Arsenal lose is so funny because their fans for ages and ages and ages wanted Arsene Wenger out. And they did all right with Wenger. Like, the lowest they dropped to was 5th or 6th. And that was in, like, the last year. Whereas beforehand, he was constantly getting them Champions League football. And now, as soon as he's gone, they're down to, I think, 8th now. Potentially even lower. They are a mid-table team.
Yeah. So in the last year that Wenger was there, they were 6th. So, of course, they were 4th and of course, they're known for the 4th place in the Premier League because of how many years they've just come 4th, just making that Champions League spot. Which is fair enough. But their owners are not great. So there's a lot more backstory stuff onto it. So they were 6th in Wenger's last year. He then, of course, retired. Emery came in. He was 8th. And now Arteta's there, they're 10th. So they're very gradually going down and down and down. Which, for an Arsenal fan, it must be horrific. And I can't imagine how bad it is. But for a non-Arsenal fan, it's hilarious.
Especially when you see... Because I didn't watch the game against Man City at all. I just saw the memes online about Luis coming on and him being there like this. Being ready to fuck shit up as soon as he stepped on. Because were they 1-0 down when he came on? Or were they level?
It was 0-0 as far as I was aware. And he came on, and of course he tried chesting or whatever he did, and then whatever Man City player just running behind, and Sterling, I think it was, went and scored. When Arsenal put in the bid in for David Luiz from Chelsea, I kind of went and I said, well, how did Chelsea manage to get any sort of money for him? How are they not paying the club who are just trying to get rid of them and just pay clubs to get rid of them, which proves right there. He's been hasn't been great at Chelsea, and he's a bit of a controversial figure there. But at Arsenal, he's just come in. He hasn't even been there for a year, has he? Or
don't think so. No.
Year now? No, it's his first year there, and he's just fitted in very well at Arsenal with their defenders
with the self-sabotage of their defenders.
Yeah.
Like the only reason I knew about him was because he scored mental free kicks when he was at Chelsea. I remember him scoring one that I don't think he should have scored, and because he's like a centre-back defensive midfielder, right? He floats between the two, and I still don't know which he's better at.
Well, he's an attacking centre-back, which you don't really get much of, because it's like you play on FIFA, right? And you have a tendency every so often to just get your centre-back up if you're winning like 3 or 4-0. He does that when teams are 0-0 and when teams are losing 1-0. He'll just take the ball and be like, sod it, I'm just going to go make a run-up. So you don't do that when you're an elite footballer playing at the top of the tree.
Especially when it's 0-0. Especially when it's 0-0.
Yeah. And I remember when he first came to Chelsea, he scored quite a few goals. And yeah, okay. And of course, we won the Champions League with him and Cahill at centre-back. So it couldn't have been that bad. He was always so dodgy. And I never trusted him. Of course, Mourinho came in and sold him. And then, of course, change of management came in and got him back and all that sort of thing, which, I never trusted it. But for a neutral fan, watch him go destroy another football club is very, very pleasant.
Especially when it's a league rival in Arsenal, or at least they used to be a league rival. But then in recent years, you wouldn't consider them a rival, would you?
To Chelsea, maybe not so much. I think Tottenham are more of a rival, but now Mourinho's there. I don't know if they're more of a rival anymore either.
So you know how West Ham have obviously their rival is Millwall, like that's their derby.
Yeah.
And then Spurs and Arsenal, North London derby. Who's like Chelsea's equivalent to that? I've never known.
I'll probably say Fulham.
Okay.
Because Stamford Bridge is on the border of Chelsea and Fulham, so it's they're probably the closest ones. There's QPR and Brentford as well. I don't actually have anything against Fulham. I think they're a lovely club, to be honest. It's QPR that I genuinely hate, like with everything that I have. I just think I mean, I'm sure their fans are not, but I think the club is just not the nicest clubs. I remember when Chelsea played against them a few years ago, and that's probably in their best days because they played in the Premier League. Dirty scum got there somehow. They
just died. That's how.
Yeah, and then they went straight back down.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, absolute mongrels. But anyway, they just dived. And I remember Drogba got a red card and he didn't even touch a player because the player literally dived, faked an injury. And then as soon as he saw the red card, he kind of went, oh, yeah, I'll fake it for another minute or two. And then he got up and started running again. So it's like, just no. And I think it's just the whole, they are a close rival. And I think it's more of their fans giving more bollocking to Chelsea fans that made me not like them more. Because Fulham fans, I think they can accept that they're crap, but QPR fans probably thought that they were great when they were bought out, came up to the Premier League, and then went, "Oh, we're the best thing since sliced bread." No, you're not. You're going right back down, and that's what happened.
Yeah, the one thing I remember from QPR was that Moroccan player, Adel Tarabt.
Yeah.
He was brilliant, but he was so fucking lazy. Like, you see pictures of him now. I don't know who he plays for. I think he played like in the French second league. He now has a massive gut, and he's still a central attacking midfielder, like playing professional football.
But the same thing arises with. Do you remember Berbatov, Dimitar Berbatov?
Oh yeah. I remember.
He used to literally walk around the football pitch. He didn't even run, and he was such a good player.
He played football walking, and he was still incredible. I think one year he was the Prem top scorer at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was up there. I don't know if he was, but he was definitely up there. And imagine if he actually ran and he didn't walk, how good he would be.
Literally, right?
Yeah.
So Tarabat was playing at Benfica, and then he got demoted to the Benfica B team before going on loan to Genoa. So he was still playing at some decent teams.
Yeah, he's playing in Portugal's top league and now in Italian top league. So it's not like it's Farmers League in France.
No, yeah, but still. Shit. Okay.
So how do you feel about the bubbles being allowed to be blown the Olympic Stadium now?
The
big news.
The big news that West Ham were allowed to blow bubbles as they walked onto the pitch at the Olympic Stadium. Couldn't give a shit. It makes zero difference.
So you might not know, but what's the story behind the bubbles?
I actually don't know. I've been going to West Ham games since I was a young kid, and I have no idea why our thing is I'm forever blowing bubbles. In fact, I'm going to put Jamie again, and I'm going to look this up right now.
Get that shit up, James. Get it up.
Why do West Ham chant I'm forever blowing bubbles? Right. Hang on, share screen. Right. Why do West Ham sing it? Come on, internet.
Have you seen Andy Carroll's new beard?
I have not seen his new beard. Is
He's
it
gone
really bad?
He's gone proper Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, has he actually?
He's. I don't know, for those people who are listening, he's basically left his side beard on, and he's left his mustache like going down, but he's shaved his goatee. It's very, very weird. So he's got like a full-on beard, just his goatee, his hair.
Oh, I see. Like that middle bit there is just missing.
Yeah. It's strange to say the least.
Yeah, I saw one of my friends from uni yesterday. Socially distanced, obviously, and his beard trim stopped working when he did like that middle bit there. So he just had this strip down the middle of his face and everything else there. I couldn't take him seriously at all. It's brilliant. So
maybe he tried to do the Andy Carroll.
He accidentally did the Andy Carroll. There's no proven account of how West Ham fans came to sing Bubbles. So apparently some school kids just started playing it. What? Another states that he inherited the nickname. Yeah, no one really knows. That was a bit of a dead end.
Okay, that's not a fun story. So I don't know if you know, but of course, going down to Brighton Uni, I've gone to a few of the Brighton matches, and
yeah,
that was back when they were fighting promotion, back in 2017, I think it was, and I don't know if you know this, but do you know about the rivalry between Crystal Palace and Brighton? Why they hate each other?
I do know about the rivalry. Yes.
So what do you think the reason is for their rivalry, or do you know what the reason is?
A Brighton fan explained it to me once, and I think it was something to do with a previous manager or something who didn't like them, or am I getting this completely wrong?
Yeah, no. So it's actually quite funny because people think that, of course, quite a lot of rivalries are geographical. So, like you said, West Ham, Millwall because they're close by, Tottenham, Arsenal because they're close by, Liverpool, Everton, and all that. And people associate Crystal Palace and Brighton because, of course, Crystal Palace is in Croydon and Brighton's only down in Brighton. So it's just the link of the M23. So two relatively big teams, not that far off from each other. People associate it with that. But what it actually is I'm not sure which set of fans did this, but one of the managers, he was either Brighton or Crystal Palace, was having like tea at a tea or coffee at an event that was like fan meet.
When was this?
A long time ago, like in the 60s or so.
Right.
So one of the fans came up to meet the opposition manager and shook his hand, and he had his tea in his hand or something like that, and the fan just whacked his tea all over the manager, and from there on the manager lost it with those fans. He started going to all sorts of other places with a team and fans saying what happened, and that's where it grew from. The fans started hating each other, and since then it's been going on. Is that what you're looking up now?
Yeah, I'm kind of Googling it. But I remember not too long ago in, I think, 2015, like Brighton played Crystal Palace. Yeah, when Brighton played Crystal Palace, basically they found a shit in the Crystal Palace changing room. And this was like 2000. This wasn't too long ago. This was like 5 years ago, maybe even less.
So I mean, it would be great if you could clarify it, but from what I remember, I was told that was the story of why the rivalry is so big nowadays. Could be wrong. I don't know. Do confirm.
I'm just reading through it now. Brighton were... Yeah, your story makes most sense. Yeah, I'm willing to take your version of events on that because I can't find anything that would contradict that. What I'm trying to find is the story of the shit.
Did anyone
take
responsibility for it?
Yes. So this was a promotion playoff between Brighton and Crystal Palace. Yeah, this right here. So the second leg was marred by a bizarre off-field incident. Human excrement was discovered smeared across the floor in the away dressing room toilets. This bit right here. What the fuck? Subsequent investigation failed to identify the perpetrator. Of course it did. That it was the Crystal Palace coach driver. Former Palace player said it was because the Crystal Palace coach driver couldn't control himself. He had uncontrollable diarrhea.
How did he get into the changing rooms, though? Surely they're like passes and who's allowed to go where.
You would think, wouldn't you? Wow.
Did you see the end bit with Gus Poyet being suspended for reaching whatever things? Could it have been him, do you reckon? Just absolute shithousery where he went, we can't win, I'm just going to go shit on the floor.
I would be amazed if the manager went to that level. That's proper dedication. I would give that man a pay rise and a contract extension.
He got a job at Sunderland afterwards, didn't he? So there you go. Or was it beforehand?
So he went from shitting on a floor to managing a shit club.
Yeah, so there's your pay rise right there.
But then Sunderland would probably... I don't know if... Was he manager of Sunderland? I didn't realise.
At one point, I'm pretty sure he was, yeah.
Oh, shit. I had no idea. Gotta love Gus.
Shit, quite literally. So, all in all, I think that's...
It's been a shitty weekend.
Sums up. Yeah, it's been a funny week. It hasn't been the best of weekends of football. Let's hope it gets better. And we will be in touch Friday for a new episode.
Yes, absolutely. If you got to this point, thanks for watching, and we will see you again next time.
Cheers.
Goodbye.
Bye.